And we're live on Fun Frolicking Friday.
Yay! Hi, everyone, and welcome to Fun Frolicking Friday. I'm really happy you're here. I am Candace, and that was Karezza. And you also heard Kristopher Lovestone, which I'm so excited to have today. So if you've never seen us before, we tend to dive into some really juicy, hot topics. And then for me, my business is the Temple of Frolic. And that word in essence means finding fun, finding a place of play. And then temple is like that place of reverence, that place of consciousness, that place of bringing a sacred element to all that we do in life. And both Kristopher and Karezza honor what I would say is the frolicking essence. So I'm so excited. And today will be another bleeding out of our show from a couple of weeks ago, talking about that feminine flow that not everybody wants to talk about. The yummy moon, the menstrual cycle, whatever you want to call it. We are here to talk about it. And I'm excited to have a masculine approach to this and a conscious masculine approach. So with that, Karezza, would you introduce yourself? And I'd love you to introduce Kristopher since you brought him on.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Karezza from the Intimate Playground. I'm an eco-conscious play, sex, and intimacy coach, and I bring play and expansion into the lives of singles and couples to help expand into a more orgasmic, eco-friendly life. So, and now we have Kristopher Lovestone, author of The Conscious Cock, sex educator, and couples counselor.
And new dog owner.
Aww.
This is my 5-month-old German Shepherd puppy who's running scared from the neighbor's 10-year-old German Shepherd barking at it right now. Anyway, hi, I'm Kristopher, and thanks for the introduction, Karezza and Candace. You know, I should be wearing red like you two. I missed the opportunity. I didn't pre-plan. You know, it surprised me. Friday, the moon came. Oops, I don't have a pad. Damn it, can you run to the store and get me one? Please. How many times has that happened, right? You know, these things that are so, air quotes, taboo in our culture, but everybody lives with them. It's a reality. So why do we keep it behind closed doors? Why can't we talk about it? Why are we so ashamed of it? Like, it is part of being alive.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's, when I say consciousness, if you heard, I don't know, I just want to hone in, you know, if you all heard, and if you didn't, rewind and listen to what Kristopher just said, and the resonance, the tonality, the choice of his words. That's conscious cock. That's what we're talking about today. So, you know, we talked about the feminine flow, and we talked about, you know, me and Karezza talked about how we feel about it and how we relate to it. But there is this reality of a huge challenge and misunderstanding, or lack thereof understanding, as well as so many layers and levels of taboo or shame or societal stuff that gets in the way of us really relating to one another, relating to ourselves, from that place of recognizing the flow as a beautiful part of life.
Well, I'm just gonna interrupt and interject. Like I see it all the time. You know, there's this concept in sex ed that if you aren't able to go to the store and buy a pack of condoms because you're too afraid, that you're not ready to have sex yet. There's a concept amongst sex educators that if you don't have the courage, ability to go into a store and actually pick out the condoms and go to the register and buy them, that you're not ready for sex yet. But anyway, there's a tandem thing there, which is like, why can't guys go pick out pads for their girlfriend? Like, can he pick her up some tampons, please? Like, you know, help out a little bit. It's not a big deal. Like, but I've seen these guys over the years in the tampon pad aisle, and they're just like, oh, they're just, it's like they have no idea. They're completely lost. They just like stare at the package and don't read the words. Like their eyes cross and they blur. Like they're just dumbfounded. They've never been introduced to it nor oriented to it. And that's a failure right there. We can orient to this. It's not that hard. You got thick pads, you got thin pads, you know, you got your light stuff and you got your heavy days. Like, it's not that hard to figure out. It's not. But guys are so like, oh no, that's women's stuff. That's dirty. I'm not going to deal with that because I'm macho. We need to break that down. Like, that's just causing division and separation. And because of that, like, a lot of women don't feel understood and don't feel supported by their man. Because it's a lot to go through your period sometimes. Sometimes it hits you like a brick wall or a ton of bricks. Like sometimes it just takes you out. And sometimes it's not, you know, it can be so different. But like to not understand the impact of it on a woman, like, is a complete failure in the relationship and a loss of a lot of potential. A lot of potential. I'm talking about getting into the flow and everything like that. There's so much potential. You know, these are sacred gates we can open with each other.
And how do we move away from years of this unknowingness or not wanting to know about a woman's cycle to a more conscious, awoken state of being in the world as a man?
Well, I asked you a question on one of your lives a couple weeks ago. What was it? I said, what do you think, what would you recommend? How can we help guys stop feeling like it's dirty?
Yeah.
Right. And you answered me with something that was lovely. And I'll summarize it in my words. It's been a few weeks now. I might not remember it perfectly, but basically we sell them on the benefits. Like if we sell them on how, like, she's going to be like feeling more open to him and more understood, more like she's got an ally in him that gets her, like that her sexuality, her heart, her body's going to open, like layers of guarding are going to relax. Right. So like sell them on the benefits of it. And we don't talk about those benefits. What are the benefits? Well, there's got some really sexy stuff that can happen there. Like you can get really juicy, you know, layers of magnitude juicier in your sexual relationship with each other if you learn to embrace this reality, a biological reality that we have, right? So that comes back to me. You know, how do we do this? And I'm like, well, let me remind you what you told me. Like we sell them on the benefits. What are the benefits? Well, you can have some really juicy sex. Well, you got to address some things first. Like you probably really want to get a thick, rich towel that's a dark color. You know, get yourself a really thick, luscious, rich towel, not some crappy 10-year-old towel with holes in it that's got stains. No, the best towel that you can find, like the most luxurious, like 5-star hotel towel you can get, but get it in like burgundy, or get it in red, or get it in a dark navy or a brown, like a dark color. Then she doesn't have to worry about staining the sheets. Right?
Yeah.
It's just big damn concern. I got to wash these sheets every single time they're stained. How many times do you get frustrated when you spot on a sheet?
Oh, yeah.
It's so annoying. God damn it. I got to do the laundry. I don't want to do the laundry right now. You know? So get a big dark towel, thick, luscious 5-star hotel towel, like little thing. And then like you can relax these concerns and worries for some of them, right?
Definitely. And I think even on a deeper level, I think guys don't think that they're connected at all to the process of menstruation, where their sperm and an egg come together to create life. So indirectly, there is a connection to menstruation and sperm, or the blood and the sperm together as well.
We could call
and
these
having
sacred
a responsibility, like to stay connected in that time of the month. That it's not just about her, it's about both of you, because when you're ovulating, you create an egg, and an egg creates life with the sperm. So, as well.
We could call that sacred. We could call that divine.
Yeah.
Right? And not everybody is spiritual, not everybody is religious, not everybody believes in God, but creation is undeniable. The source of life is, you can't refute that things are alive. Like, we are, I'm in the jungle, like there's so much life. There's bugs trying to bite me. Like, everybody's competing for life, right? So this creation, that's sacred. You know, that life is precious, right? And we have that power, and talk about our blood. What's more precious than that? Yeah. If it stops, if our heart stops, we die. Like, it has to be coursing through our bodies.
Yeah.
So it's a precious thing, and so is semen. Yeah. In my perspective, cum is sacred. You don't just go throwing that around. Maybe when I was 18, sure. When I had so much testosterone that I had to move that energy a lot, you know, and I could masturbate 3 times a day, like, easily when I was in my teens. No problem. Like, so much energy, right? But now, I'm realizing how precious it is. And I'm a father. And I gave life, and I planted my seed in my wife's belly, and it grew into the most beautiful being. And I'm so in love with him, right? So I get to live with the reality of creation from my fluids with my partner's fluids. Definitely. So I feel the sacredness. Women get it intuitively, because, you know, you can carry a baby to term and have that life come on, the quickening in your belly, right? Feeling the moment when the spirit enters the fetus and it moves. And you're like, oh my God, like, talk about connection to God right there, when life enters your body, right? No, giving me tingles here. So I can't do that, but still, I deposited it. It came from me. So I don't know, blood, cum, like these things can be precious and sacred if we shift how we look at them.
Yeah.
By addressing some of our shame, like worry about staining the sheets, for example. You know.
Delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Candace, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my phone. Am I in the video too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. My phone is being really weird. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I am here, and I am really enjoying the passion, the light, this is a lot of really valuable information. This is stuff that we're not taught about. And if you're relating to a woman, whatever your gender identification is, your orientation is, you will be relating to women in your life. May that be sexually, emotionally, professionally. And those women are going through this experience every day, not just when they're bleeding, but once a month. Yes, things are like, whoa. But there's also, like, if you educate yourself on their flow and get to know their flow when it's happening and understand what happens before, during, and after, you can open up whole new levels of relating, and you could probably reduce some amounts of more than monthly tension. Never mind these juicy layers and levels of allowing yourself to enjoy the flow. And if you're worried about stains too, I mean, they have disposable, like, waterproof, liquid proof things you can get. They have Special Liberator makes amazing sex blankets. There's so many options.
I espouse red satin sheets. Okay.
Ooh.
Red satin sheets feel amazing. All right. So what we're doing is we're shifting out of shame, and we're moving into a positive pleasure alternative.
Yeah.
Right. Like, when we put the red satin sheets on, and I also got my partner red satin pajamas. They just kind of glide over her body. They're really comfy. You just want to keep them on all day long, right? And then like in the red satin sheets with the red satin pajamas, she just feels lovely, like just sliding like silk everywhere, right? So you shift out of that, and then it's okay if it gets a stain. It's red. It's fine. It comes out easy, So like little things, like to change from this thing. Oh, we're gonna hold it at bay to say no. Let's just shift it and make it awesome.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay. It doesn't matter if you leak a little bit. It's all right. It's fine. So also you can get a sacred cloth, like Karezza, behind you on your wall. You have is it, I don't know, Shiva and Shakti, Buddha, I'm not sure, but like in Yab Yum, like you could get a tapestry that maybe it's a mandala and it's like in the red tones, and you can put that down and just make it an altar. Right?
Beautiful.
And then if you get it stained with blood, get it stained with cum, and make a prayer, right? Put a candle on it, put it on the table afterward, and put a candle on it, and like say your prayer to the universe. What do you want to bring into your life? What do you want in your relationship? What do you want to heal? Anyway, so like you can make your bed an altar too. Just practical things, like get one of these mandala tapestries. What do they call them? Sarongs or something like that.
Yeah.
You can find these things at various import stores from Asian stuff. But let me ask you, Karezza, is there a time of the month when you get really horny?
Yes.
It's regular? Like you've identified it? For you, there's a pattern?
Yes, definitely.
And Candace, is there a time of the month for you that's an identifiable pattern that you feel horny?
Yeah, I actually have like standards around what I need when I'm in relationship around my moon and my flow that are pretty important to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say not everybody has an identifiable pattern. Today, they may at one point in their life have an identifiable pattern, and at another time in their life have no way to make heads or tails. It's just everything is curveballs. But like, for you guys, you can communicate that information to a lover. You can say, I have a pattern that I experience right now. Might not always be like this, but and give the keys to the kingdom to your partner so that they understand how to work with you. And is there another identifiable pattern in your cycle where you feel a certain way? If there are these patterns and you can own them and communicate them, then hopefully that empowers the other person to be able to meet you and support. Like, there's a couple days when I just don't want to go out. I just want to stay home and watch movies and like have a hot water bottle in my belly. Like there's like a day when I just don't bother me with questions, like I don't want to be processing right now. That's sacred information there to give to your partner, like so that they can win with you. It's like, here's how to win with me. Don't do this. Don't come at me requiring me to solve the world's problems when I just want to be in bed, like watching a chick flick. Like, wait for a week or two. When I'm feeling up and out and powerful and like energetic, outgoing, social,
And oh, you want to go?
I think I gotta move in. It's starting to rain. I'm just gonna move where I'm sitting. Excuse me. I'm just gonna go under the rancho here.
It's okay.
I'm gonna be organized somehow.
Did you want to say something, Candace?
Yeah. So like as I share, for me, I love blood. I love the moon. Like, and the idea of painting and celebrating and really being with the blood and creating something with that creative energy is just so powerful. And so maybe you don't want to paint a picture with blood with me, but like, I know for me, something I educate my partners about is within the first 3 days of blood, I do need some sort of sexual attention. Like my yoni needs to be honored in some capacity. We have to find some middle ground there.
Oh, beautiful.
So
that's pretty advanced. I love that. And that's because you're so in tune with yourself from so much experience of listening to your signals. And a lot of people aren't that embodied, right? A lot of people are kind of shut down, out of touch. Hold on, my dog's chewing on something. Living in the real world here. Do what you got to do, right? So like there are baby steps that people can take, You know, if you imagine a girl who's maybe 14, she's only been getting her period for a year, she's not going to be that far down her pathway of personal erotic evolution like you guys are. But the baby steps are great. First off, like observing her patterns and how she feels and allowing herself to own those feelings and not feel bad about them. It's okay to feel horny. It's okay to feel emotional. It's okay to be testy. Like, observe the pattern, learn about yourself. The more you learn about yourself, the better you're going to be able to train your partner how to live with you or work with you or dance with you or love you, right? When you really want to be loved. You know, meet you how you need to be met, not push them away or something like that. So yeah, Candace or Karezza, excuse me. Beautiful. Do you have anything like that comes up for you that like you really need on a regular basis or would love to have on a regular basis? What I mean is monthly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just nice. I think it's nice to be touched and just to feel a partner that supports me and is on my side rather than far away and wants to be disconnected. And just like to be held or to be massaged or just to, you know, be in the moment together in connection, even if it's not through penetration or just like holding the yoni or whatever, or kissing and just being close and expanding in that cycle. And, you know, being able to, it's so important because for men to understand the woman at that time, because that's part of who she is. And it's all the different aspects and really grounding yourself in this person and understanding them and evolving and wanting to, you know, be different than, you know, your father or, you know, and really changing the world through bringing this knowledge and connection into life of a man.
Yeah. So if I were to distill that to one word, here I am being a man, being a guy. Guys like to like have a summary thing. It's like you want to be held.
Yeah.
Emotionally, physically, you want to be held. You want to be met. Yeah, that's not one word, but yeah. So presence, right? Show up. And here we are, right? Back at shame. Like guys are like, oh no, that's women's stuff. Oh, it smells when I go into the women's bathroom. Like, oh, I can't handle that. It smells like iron or something. Like guys, they're not familiar with it. They're just like, they don't know how to lean into that since they're not familiar with it. But there's so much richness to be had there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. You don't have to necessarily paint a painting with blood, but to be able to set, how do I say this? If a couple can manage their personal issues about blood, their judgments about blood being dirty or about menstruation being dirty, if they can manage that by, for example, saying, yeah, like I would like to lean into trying having unabashed period sex, but I feel kind of squirmy about it. Like, how do we actually do that? Well, it's okay. You know, baby steps. You could say, okay, well, let's take a shower and let's soap up and let's do it in the shower. In the shower, right? Yeah. And then talk about flow. You're embracing the flow, and you as the woman, I believe, can really let go. You're not going to stain any sheets. Like, it doesn't smell bad in the shower. You're just letting it come out, right? Like, go into the water, right? Like, that's a really easy way to enter into this without having to like jump into the deep end of the pool, right? Just like try it in the shower. Like, yeah, push her up against the shower and take her from behind, like, or like lift her leg up or pin her against the wall. Like, get juicy, let it flow. It's fucking awesome. It can be really yummy. And I find it's a really good lubricant, a sexual lubricant, right? Rather than using a silicone or a water-based lube. Like, I just think blood is awesome and cum is awesome. They're the best. Definitely. So anyway, I just think, you know, it's so easy when you're menstruating. Like, you don't have to worry about lube. It's just not a discussion. You're already wet. Anyway, that's my opinion. Other people are going to have different opinions.
So I personally, I'm a what you would call demi or omnisexual or pansexual, whatever. So I relate to all genders, and I've had the beautiful opportunity to witnessed women of, experiencing being worshipped and revered for their first time while on their moon. And it's like, so I'm blind now, but just to all the viewers out there, I haven't always been blind. And so I remember like very clearly the look in their eyes, like this childlike, innocent, like, oh my God, it's okay. And oh my God, I'm beautiful. Oh my God, this is sexy. Oh my God, you can love me here. Just like shock, like layers of shock and shame and years of storyline just whoosh, washing away. Ah, I love that.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I would call that holy. To touch someone's trauma, their shame, their history, their path, all the things that have happened to them in their lives, all the beliefs that were programmed into them from all the movies they watched and everything their parents said and stuff like that. Like, you touch that when you make love to somebody, and then to do it with menstruation, to embrace it and say, I love you.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of sex in relationship. Like, I'm not into casual sex. I don't talk to guys about dating. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not into pickup artistry. No. To me, the keys of the castle are in relationship. It doesn't have to be like marriage. It doesn't have to be live-in cohabitation, but relationship where you have a long-term relationship with somebody, an ongoing thing that can evolve and grow. Anyway, that's where I find the real gold and diamonds and jewels. And in that, like, you're really building so much trust with each other that you can handle the unabashed reality of the other person's body. I used to work in the ER. I used to be a medic also, driving an ambulance. And, you see people lose their shit, literally. They can't hold their bowels. Like, they're in an accident and they shit themselves, or they're vomiting. They can't hold it down. It's like the worst stuff is shit and vomit. And like, you see people at their worst, but they're still there. They're still human. They still need love. Like, they're just going through something. It's just the vehicle that they're in this life. So we all have our body things that are going to happen, like indigestion, gas, like, warts, STIs, like blisters. These are reality. Are we going to love somebody conditionally? I'm only going to love you if you're pretty. If you smell right, it's great. If you smell great and like you're all perfect and done up, that's so shallow. That's so crappy. That's so superficial. Like, if you want a successful, yummy, juicy, deep relationship, you got to love the soul, and the body's the vessel, and the vessel's going to have issues because, hello, we age, right? So like, menstruation is just part of it. To me, embracing the reality of this human existence is embracing the body and understanding the body. Blood, our immune system, like our skeleton, our muscles, like learning massage and touch, learning sex, learning sexual anatomy. Yes, get more information, embrace the reality. Then you're empowered to actually love the being who's in there somewhere, the spark that's beneath all those tissues.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the body is the pathway to get to that soul. Like, you want to meet that soul? You really want to love them? Learn their body, love their body. Warts and all.
Yeah. We have a comment from Janet Fotheringham. She says, we as parents need to start teaching our children about our flows and rituals around our flow and how important it is, and isn't a dirty secret to be ashamed of.
Period parties for all children.
But that's how you empower men as well. I think even as a father, as a single father, it's to know how to understand a woman's period, menstrual cycle, and pass that down in a conscious, mindful way is really changing the world as well.
Oh, yeah. What is that type of period cup called? Goddess cup,
Diva
princess
cup.
What?
Diva.
That's right. Yeah. Men need to know about Diva cups, and a lot of women don't know about Diva cups. So let's talk about it. Let's just put this practical tips. I'm all about practical tips.
I showed mine last time.
Oh, great. So you put that out there already. Awesome. I just want guys, if any guys tune into this, to know that there's an alternative to pads and tampons. It's called a Diva Cup, and it's a silicone, right? It's squishy, soft little cup. It's like about the size of a shot glass. Like if you're going to take a shot of rum or tequila, it's about that size. And it is so soft, and you insert it in the vagina, and it cups the cervix. The cervix is shaped like a little donut, like a little tiny donut, and it just goes around that. And collects the blood, and then she pulls it out. She pours it down the sink or does whatever she wants to do with it, but she doesn't have a pad that is getting filled up. She has a cup that's getting filled up. So it's also cool. You can collect the blood, so if you're feeling like you want to make an offering, you have maybe a something beautiful in your house, like a flower or an orchid or a plant, or even just, go out to the earth, like you want to give your offering. Like it can be a really personal, sacred thing for the woman to, bleed on the ground or offer her blood back to the earth. But it also can be a beautiful thing for the couple to have that blood and say, okay, I'm just going to take a dab of it, put it on my third eye or on my heart as a symbol of our devotion to each other, right? Just like, there's things you can do with your blood that are sacred, that aren't culty, right? That aren't like, oh, the dark arts or something like that. No, this is her precious flow, right? It is her life force energy. It's depleting. You're losing your blood, right? It costs the body energy to do that. So anyway, guys, the Diva Cup, you can get one for your girlfriend and say, hey, I heard about this thing, if she doesn't know about it, you can tell her Kristopher Lovestone said to do this. Like, it's his fault. That's fine. Blame it on me if you need to blame it on me. But I think it's a good idea. And you're not throwing something away every week. You're not, or every month. You're not creating trash. Right, you're not requiring recurring manufacturing. There's no of these toxic bleaching chemicals that they put into tampons to make them white, which get sucked up through the soft tissues of the mucosa of the vagina and go into her blood system and toxify her. Like Diva Cups don't do those things, and guys don't know this information. They think they know it all, but they don't.
I know.
They don't know it all.
Alternatives. They have the original maker of these would be called Thinks. Like I have a pair of their underwear that have a pad in them. I remember one time I actually had a guy I was wearing it walking around, and the guy was like, wow, those are sexy underwear. I'm like,
oh, cool.
These are my period panties.
Nothing sexier than my period panties, gotta say. Like, let's be honest.
So you should buy some sexy period panties. They have them in black, and they contain everything, and they're cute. Yep.
Yes. So there's some amazing technologies out here like this that help us to embrace rather than resist. Get some period panties, get a cup, get some red satin sheets, like a hot water bottle. The hot water bottle, Granny's old hot water bottle. Yep. Get a hot water bottle. And if she's getting crampy, like make her a hot water bottle. Not too hot. You don't boil the water. You just want it to be hotter than warm, right? Not scalding. You don't want to burn her, right? And if it is burning hot, you just put 2 layers of towels in between it, or 3 layers of towels, or 1 layer of towel in between it to moderate the temperature, to get it to the right temperature. So as the water cools, you just take another layer off. And you just it can feel so relaxing on crampy muscles to just put some heat there, or even on her lower back, because it might be pulling on her psoas. So like just some comfort goes so far. And inevitably doing an action like that with your heart, men, makes the woman feel so loved, taken care of, which is a precious thing. How often do we get to be taken care of once we're adults? We're on our own, fending for, taking care of all the business. Like, how often do we really get to be taken care of? So it's precious. These are really important things.
And there's many, many ways, as we've shared, over the last period of time. I hope that we've given you guys when I say guys, that's just a New England thing. I mean, everyone. Some ideas on ways you can celebrate this, whether that be with yourself, if you're not in relationship, and start to develop an inner language so that you're able to communicate to those you relate to whatever gender that may be, what your needs are. And start asking questions if your partner isn't telling you. But there are some basics like chocolate and heating pads and just, yeah, how are you?
Yeah.
Knowing when that time is coming and checking in. Yeah, so simple, but so potent.
Right. So
So
knowing when the time is coming is as simple as using Google Calendar on your cell phone or getting a period tracking app and just marking when she's bleeding on the calendar. And then if you forget, you can just look back and see last month, when was she bleeding? If you can get the start date, that's the best. If you can't, then at least mark when she was bleeding. Oh yeah, the second or third day you caught it. Great. Or if she said, "Oh, I was bleeding last week." Great, mark it down. Like have it as a reference point on your calendar, and then like just have that be a heartbeat that just goes through your life of like maintaining awareness that like there are changes that are happening on a regular basis. A lot of guys don't understand estrogen and progesterone and what they do to a person. And we all have them. I have estrogen and progesterone in my body. Like whether you have a penis or a uterus, like you have these hormones. We all do. We just have them in varying levels. So in general, women or female-bodied individuals have higher estrogen levels than men do. And in general, penis owners have higher testosterone than women do. But if we understand the effects of these chemicals, then we're empowered to deal with them, right? So estrogen makes you feel awesome. Estrogen makes you feel outgoing. Estrogen makes you feel playful and confident and powerful and energized. And progesterone makes you feel angry and tense and cranky and sad and emotional and volatile, right? So if you understand that these are kind of antagonistic, competing hormones that do opposite things. One is a depressant, you could say. You know anybody who's chronically depressed? Have you ever met somebody who's actually clinically depressed? Like it's serious. Depression is very real. Yeah. And then like mood elevators. You know anybody who's ever done ecstasy, MDMA? Like you know anybody who does anything to elevate their mood, any chemical to elevate their mood, right? So you can look at the menstrual cycle as the woman getting force injected a mood elevator for 2 weeks. She didn't consent to it. It's just getting put in her body. And then right after that, bam, she gets hit with a depressant for 2 more weeks. She didn't consent to that. No, it's like the government says you've got to get a vaccine or something. It's like, oh no, you here for 2 weeks, you're going to be high and happy, and 2 weeks you're going to be fucking depressed. Now 2 weeks high and happy again. No, 2 weeks depressed. Like, good luck trying to deal with that. Oh my God, that's crazy making, right? Like that sounds like torture. And like guys don't understand that for a lot of women, it can be explained like that. That like they're trying to hang on for the freaking ride when they're not consenting to having their hormones or biochemistry changed every 2 weeks, you could just say, as a rough generalization. That's all I'm doing. It's just a big generalization. I wouldn't, how the hell would I keep going and try to stay on course if like I'm getting injected with a depressant and boom, my mood crashes. And then bam, 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh, I'm high and I'm happy. Like, good luck dealing with that cycle. So I have a lot of empathy and compassion for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like just from a biochemical standpoint even, right? Like that is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Wow. So anything we can do to like understand that so we can work with it, since it's a given and we're not changing it unless you get your ovaries taken out or a hysterectomy. Or when you go through menopause, you know, we haven't talked about menopause. But during those child rearing fertile years, like this is something that we can make less impactful and shift it to be something that we can dance better with and shift it into a beautiful dance rather than something that's always throwing us off balance.
Sure. And I think it's also important to kind of check in with your partner as a woman. Maybe, you know, I don't know in terms of the hormones and the ups and downs, but I think it's important to kind of sometimes check in with your partner and maybe say, you know, if you need a little time away, you don't have to be there 24/7, all the time, and maybe it gets to a point where it's highly heightened and it gets too much. And what is a guy to do with his feelings and his emotions and maybe his hormones at the moment or whatever? And to give him a little piece of a break to go out with his friends or just to relax by himself is important as well, to check in with him.
Easy, free-flowing communication is so foundational to relationship success. If you really want to be understood by your partner, you have to help them to understand you. They're not psychic. Like, you got to give them the information so they can navigate their world with you. If you don't do it, like, you're not really helping. But also teasing that information out of your partner is a beautiful practice to do for your entire life, trying to elicit their voice, elicit their choice. And if you're both doing that, then you can create the most beautiful dance of improvisation through your lives as you change, maybe on a daily basis or a monthly basis or a yearly basis, etc. There's something else that, as you were talking, it brought up for me, but I lost the idea, lost the thought. Oh, okay. I know. What does that sound? I don't know. That was something weird. So I want to speak to women for a minute and say, like, even if you're on your period, even if you're feeling, as we say, quote unquote, hormonal, even if you're feeling emotional, like, don't take out the knives.
Yeah.
Don't cut him emotionally. Don't be vicious. He is not your punching bag. Don't do it. It causes so much damage. Like, maybe he doesn't understand that you're volatile, but he's not there to receive pain because you don't know how to get your emotions out. Like, don't take it out on him and make him your vomit bag. I understand maybe I say the wrong thing and it tips you off. I get it. Okay, and I might receive a blast, but, like, try with your willpower to choose your words to not create damage. It's okay to vent, but I'm saying don't damage. Don't get out that knife and twist it about that thing in the past that he did. Like, no, that's not helpful. All it does is make you feel better because you had all over somebody. And that is childish. That's what kids do. I see it on the playground. That's what children do. No filters. And I'm not saying not to feel your feelings, but I'm saying don't get out the knives and twist them in him because you're feeling whatever you're feeling right now. Don't do that. Like, help him to be your ally. Help build a bridge. Tell him that you're mad. Tell him you're pissed off. Don't put the knife in and twist it. Like, go beat the pillow and punch the bed and, like, take a walk and scream at the top of your lungs, but don't hurt your relationship acting like a 12-year-old. Like, there's so many teenage girls that I see just having these tantrums, right? Like, it's a thing of dealing with these hormones for the first time when you're 13. Oh my God, what do I do? Don't do that as a 40-year-old adult or something like that. Let's move out of that into, like, conscious communication. If you both are trying, like, it helps so much. And then I want to talk to guys, men, and say, if she's feeling powerful and she's angry, like, you need to be able to stand that and not back away and not be a limp rag, not be wishy-washy, and not turn into a jerk and escalate it either, but stand through the fucking fire and speak your truth and try to do it kindly. And it's okay if you have to yell to match her intensity level. Intensity from her probably needs to be met by equal intensity from you in order to diffuse it, but don't get out the knives. It's okay to raise your voice. It's okay to get intense. Speak truth. Don't judge. Don't blame. Don't call names. Don't be bitter. And stand in the fire. And if you both do that, if she works on not getting out the knives and he works on standing strong and not backing away and not being a jerk, then, oh my God, you can transmute that passionate fire into the most amazing lovemaking.
Oh yeah.
The amazing, like, relationship building foundation brick They're like, oh my God, we went through that hard thing. And we honored each other, and we went through that crazy thunderstorm or hurricane or whatever you want to call it, tempest, and came out on the other side, probably reeling from all the adrenaline. Probably like, oh my God, I need some time to come down here. Got to process this. That's okay. But like, it can build your relationship and build your trust. You know, the other person isn't going to get out the knives and isn't going to back away and isn't going to be a jerk to you, right? Like, anyway, so I just want to speak that to women and to men. Like, there's these two patterns that are very common, and I need to name them. If we want to talk about embracing menstruation, like, we have to talk about the things that tend to happen when a woman's bleeding, and a lot of arguments happen in relationships when she's on her moon. It's a reality in the world. So let's deal with the reality and talk about a couple things. Anyway, thank you for listening. I know I got on a soapbox there.
It's okay.
It's important to acknowledge, like you said, the roller coaster, to name it. And like, I've always feel like I have to remind myself and remind my partners that at that time, stuff comes up. It's coming up to move through me. And I have to remind myself to not take it out, to not take it so seriously. Like, I kind of have a personal rule to not make big decisions or try to get involved in like figuring things out when I'm in flow. When that stuff is up, it is like, whoa, we can't, the fire, like you said. Yeah, it's real. It's really, 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 really real.
Candace, your audio sounds really weird right now. Your audio sounds like you're like a cartoon character. I don't know if you have a mic that's plugged in or what. Did you say something again?
My phone's being weird. I have no idea.
Yeah, it sounds really tinny, like an old cartoon telephone or something. But anyway, we heard you though. It just sounded weird.
I didn't want to interrupt.
There's so much here about embracing menstruation consciously. And all I mean by consciously is like putting the information on the table, not being asleep, not being just a walking robot running patterns that we took from our caregivers and media and stuff like that. I mean, like, just shining the light of awareness, getting new accurate information, getting an updated map, and using it to navigate with. Not using the 100-year-old map from grandpa. Like, get the current information and use that. Like, don't be a sheep, but wake up and get some new modern information and tools. That's all I mean by being conscious. I'm not talking about meditating as a practice. That's not what I mean. I'm not talking about spirituality. I'm just talking about like waking up and using our minds to identify things that are pain points. And if we can diminish them or eliminate them, that's great. Smooth out the rough edges, it helps. These things just help. And if you just keep doing these things, identify one thing, knock it out if you can, smooth it down if you can, make it less rough, then identify another, and just keep doing that as a practice your whole life. You just consistently are making things better. And over time, you get to experience that you've built a life of grace where things feel lovely all around you because you've addressed the pain points one by one, and a new one comes up, you identify it, you're like, okay, how can I get some good information, a tool, a technique to deal with this, if there is one, and then start doing it. So thank you guys for inviting this conversation today on your show. It's so great.
Yeah. And I also think having men, coaches or sex educators and counselors, for other men to bring these issues to or topics to is so important, because maybe they're not comfortable bringing it up to their partner at the moment.
Oh my God,
or if they're single, having a space, having a group, a private group or a coach to bring these issues up to learn and to bring that into their next relationship.
Guys are so shut down. I mean, humans are so shut down, but I focus on men. So heterosexual men. So then they're just so locked up, and like they're so unable to even ask questions often.
Yeah.
Like they literally can't even find courage, willpower, let's say willpower, to ask a question about something that's really deep and important to them. Like they're really locked up. It takes a lot to remove our layers of shame, to move into courage, to ask these questions that we feel we can't ask because we've never seen anybody talk about it before. So what you're doing with your show is you're demonstrating that we can talk about these things, and we can laugh while we're doing it and lighten up. Pardon me, lighten the fuck up. Not taking everything so goddamn seriously. Like, you know, it's okay. We're all in human bodies here. Like, it's a challenge. Never did this before, or at least I don't remember doing it before. You know, like, learn as we go. Have a little compassion for each other.
Yes.
Doing our best.
Oh, yeah, it reminds me of something I was thinking, and we're probably getting close. I just want to say, one, yes, I have so much empathy for the masculine, and having Brotherhood and or a coach to have that empathy, yes. And same for the femme. Like, have your sisterhood. Go to your girls and bitch about him. Like, you know, have that create these. There's a way to celebrate and to be. And yes, it is challenging, but there's so many pathways to, in essence, creating more pleasure in our lives and our relationships.
Candace, thank you for naming that. I want to make a request to any women that are watching this show not to man bash. It's not helpful.
Yep.
It's not. Feminism has emasculated men for the last, I'm going to say 80 years, okay? You know, am I doing my math right? Since the 40s, basically after World War II, feminism, birth control, and in the United States became a movement. I used to work at Family Planning, one of the most feminist organizations on the planet. And you want to empower women, there are two big things: education and access to birth control. That's just foundation level stuff, guys. Okay, this is feminism, all right? Like the foundation, like you want to empower women, but like since the 50s and feminism, this huge wave of feminism has emasculated men. What that means is it's told men that their power is bad. That like they're the cause of the problems in the world, patriarchy and all this stuff. So guys are afraid to like ravish a woman because they don't want to be a jerk. So many guys are turning trans because they're so ashamed of having a penis or having testosterone. Like guys are really categorically, a lot of them are locked up. So anyway, I want to say a request to women: don't bash men, especially not with your sisters. It is not helpful. Like we need to move past that where we build each other up. There's so many sisterhood circles and there's so much man bashing that goes on, and I'm fucking sick of it. Like I see so many men around doing really good work, trying to make the world a better place, showing up as fathers and as partners and as community members. Like if you're just looking at all the jerks and focusing on that, you're choosing your focus. And now I understand trauma, I understand abuse. I know so many of us have been hurt. So many of you have been hurt. I get it. But bashing doesn't get us anywhere. Finding out how to build bridges and work together, now that gets us somewhere. Learning how to work with the enemy, that gets us somewhere. Learning how to make peace, that gets us somewhere. Learn about peacemaking. Learn about how to handle discord, right? Learn how to process your emotions without making the other person wrong. Like we all can benefit from this stuff. Anyway, so thank you, Candace. I just want to mention that. Like, yes, talk to your friends, definitely, but man bashing, like I'm sick of it.
Definitely. And I think, you know, by having the conversation on menstruation, by, you know, looking at the conscious cock and what that represents, moves us away from the patriarchy that's been with us for hundreds of years. And by being able to speak and have communication just about a man's emotions and his history and even if he's done wrong in the past, you know, to be able to redirect his life and make amends with it, apologize and move forward from that. By being conscious by, being aware of what he's done and moving forward and not dwelling and being stuck in the past, but moving forward and learning and evolving and growing, and thus changing the world to a more egalitarian society.
Oh. And a request for men, any men watching this. If you're hanging out with other guys and you hear a guy being a jerk, talking about women in a manner that's derogatory, making an object out of her, sleazy locker room talk, stand up and say, I don't like this. No, stop. Like, I don't want to have this conversation. If you're going to talk like this, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Like, don't take it to like get friendship approval from another guy. Like, we need to get past this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, good stuff.
I gave my asks.
Yeah, I totally feel you, and I could deeply resonate with this, where we're going at this moment.
Hey, your mic just got way better.
Yes.
I don't know what happened, but it switched from being awful to awesome right then. Did you tap your phone or something? I don't know, but okay, it's back to normal now. Okay.
Good. But I have had that. I can acknowledge and admit I've had periods of time where internally I want to man bash. I've had those traumas. I've had those experiences. And I feel like in essence, that's kind of what led me to learning about consciousness and Tantra and deepening my sexuality, because it wasn't getting me anywhere. I have to relate to this world, and to blame an entire gender for my shit, that's not fair. It's not going to get me anywhere. And I'm definitely not going to enjoy it. I can't receive. There's so much love to receive. And it's painful. It is not a fun experience. And then on a energetic or emotionally intellectual level, I end up taking on that masculine, and it affects me in every area of my life where I do not receive, and my feminine goes out, and I don't get the pleasures of being a woman. This is
Well, thanks for owning that publicly.
Yeah.
As we do that, as we say, yeah, I was a jerk, and we own that, we show people that it's okay. We've all been human. We are human. Like we've never been perfect. Like we don't come from perfection. I'm missing the point here. But by saying or coming clean that I've been a jerk in the past, like it shows other people that they can do the same thing. Like it doesn't have to define you for the rest of your life. You can say, that was shitty of me, and here's my reasons why I shifted. Maybe those reasons might be compelling to you too.
Yeah. Wow.
Good talk.
Yeah.
What time is it, loves? Probably.
It's 58 minutes.
Top of the hour.
Yeah, I just want to do a last check. Are there any other comments we didn't address yet?
Janet asked, where did this amazing man come from?
The Pleiades. Where did I come from? I came from my grandmother and my mother really raised my heart and protected me from men who would have killed my spirit. You can think of a domineering father archetype, right? My mother viciously guarded my heart against the men that were toxic in her life, because she was in a lot of relationships. And so I was fostered and cultivated to feel, my sensitivity wasn't drowned out of me. I wasn't forced to become a robot. I don't know. They didn't force me to stay on the baseball team or something like that. I got to unfold this beautiful flower in my chest. And then I went to the School of Education to become a teacher, and 90% of the people there were women, because most teachers are women. At high school, even before college, I went to one of the only schools in the Convent of the Sacred Heart that allow boys. There's only 2 in the world. Otherwise, they're all girls. Anyway, so I was surrounded by mostly women there, all the nuns in the sisterhood. So a lot of time with women to understand women.
Yeah.
Right? And also a lot of experience with men, but I was sheltered and protected in very specific ways that protected my heart and my unique frequency from being drowned out, from domineering men who would like knock a kid into line, so it's been quite a journey since then, becoming an adult and going out on my own to find what's my unique frequency in the world of what I want to talk about, what I want to give. And I never thought I was going to be a sex educator or relationship counselor. I had no fucking idea I was going to do that. Are you kidding me? No way, man. I thought I was going to be a doctor, teacher, So I don't know. And then my relationship with my wife, we've been together for 15 years now. She's been my longest relationship, sexual relationship with a woman, and like a huge teacher to me, the cauldron of our bed and our home and becoming a father. So, but I always knew in my heart of hearts that I wanted a long-term successful, hot sexual engaged relationship. I wanted the Hollywood idea, but without all the Hollywood bullshit, right? Like like till death do we part. I knew I wanted that, and I was destined to figure out how the hell I was going to make that work. So where did I come from? That's a quick story about me.
Sweet.
I love it. And I'm imagining, we have, Janet, if you want to connect and learn more about him, I think his information is on the right up here. Or how can people find you or contact you? What's the best method, Chris?
They can find out about me on my Facebook profile, Kristopher Lovestone, or my website, consciouscock.com. And there's a contact form on the website, or send me a message on Facebook, etc. I'm accessible.
Yeah.
I'm not some like rock star or like demigod that doesn't answer messages.
Thank you.
Thank you too. It's really been an enjoyable conversation, I got to say. It shifted my energy. I was feeling a little down and like crunchy earlier, and now I'm like, oh my god, I'm lit. It's awesome.
I feel you. Yep. This definitely raised my vibe. I was listening. I don't know about this relationship thing.
Fun. That's great.
I'm loving it. Thank you, Janet, for chiming in. And thank you to all of our viewers. Whether you're watching this now or later, the replay, whether on Coach Academy's page or our YouTube, because this is streamed to many places, do reach out. You can still comment or just reach out to us directly. We will be watching and keeping an eye for your comments and questions. And maybe we could have Kristopher back again someday for part 2.
Oh God. Ooh, what do we get into next? Period sex first. Like, what's next? Conception? I mean, when I'm talking about having babies, like, it's really sexy. It can be a lot of fun.
We gotta have Janet for that. Janet's actually a birth doula. Janet is, Janet would be a great one to have for that conversation too. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. It's been lovely.
Thank you.
Bye,
Appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
See you next Friday.
Ciao.